Now, here is the key to this forgiveness business. I want you to notice that in this situation, whatever they did to hurt you, they didn't do it because they wanted to hurt you and to cause you suffering. They did it for 5 key reasons. These are universal truths about human behavior. Number 1, they did what they did to hurt you out of ignorance. That means that they were doing their best to do good in that situation, but given their limited understanding of life and their limited capabilities, the result wasn't so good for you from your point of view. And so it hurt you. But they were trying to do their best. They were just ignorant. And so their best wasn't that good. Try to see that. This is a very universal point that covers many situations. Most of the quote-unquote evil stuff that people think other people do to them isn't really evil. It's just action out of ignorance. And that really, that person who hurt you was probably trying to do what they thought was best for you from their point of view. Now, this can get very twisted because if they're in a low state of consciousness, what they think is best for you, if they're very, very ignorant, then what they think is best for you might be exactly the opposite, and it might end up hurting you. But they don't know that. So take a look at this situation with this person and just see, were they acting out of ignorance? Another universal point, point number 2, is that whatever they did to hurt you, they did it out of weakness and out of fear. Maybe they cheated you somehow. Maybe they lied to you. Maybe they tried to screw you over. Maybe they stole something from you. Maybe they manipulated you. Whatever they did to you, notice, try to see what their motivations for doing it were. And notice that if they did something nasty to you, it's probably because they were weak in that moment and they succumbed to fear. Some kind of fear. They were afraid of something, therefore they hurt you. Again, this is very universal and very common. When people think that other people do evil things to them, usually those people who are quote-unquote doing the evil things are simply acting out of weakness and fear. Point number 3. If they hurt you, they did so out of selfishness. Notice that this person in this situation was probably being selfish. Point number 4. They did it out of a desperate desire to get love because they lack love. So if this person hurt you, it's because actually, deep down, they were lacking in love and they wanted love from you. But because they're ignorant and they're selfish and they're weak, they didn't know how to properly get the love that they wanted from you. So they got it in some sort of way that ended up hurting you, but getting them the love that they wanted. So notice that. This is another very deep universal principle of human behavior. So usually when somebody does something evil, quote unquote evil, it's because they simply want love, but they don't know how else to get it other than through this selfish action, which then we call evil because it hurts somebody else. And point number 5, they did it out of a lack of consciousness. This person hurt you because this was not a high consciousness person at that time in that situation. If the person had more consciousness, if the person was more developed, if the person was in a more conscious state, they would have behaved very differently in that situation. Notice that. So, very likely all 5 of these points, ignorance, fear, selfishness, the need and lack of love, and lack of consciousness, all 5 of these points played out in your scenario with this person, and this completely explains why they hurt you. So I want you to very clearly replay this situation in your mind and just notice the real root reason why you were hurt. Because this person acted out of ignorance, weakness, fear, selfishness, unconsciousness, and a need for love. If you still can't see this, keep replaying the situation and keep contemplating it deeper until you see that this is true. I guarantee you that it's true. It's just a question of how deeply are you going to go inside of their minds to try to understand their motivations. Can you see how in this situation, this person was not being evil, but actually this person was trying to be good? And that this person was seeking love in ignorant ways. That's all that this situation boils down to. That's really all that these kinds of situations where somebody gets hurt boil down to, is people are seeking love in one form or another. It might be in the form of money or sex or a relationship or a favor or a business opportunity or fame or pleasure. These are all just different forms of love. People seek these things not knowing why they're seeking them because they think that they will ultimately lead them to some sort of fulfillment and satisfaction, and then they pursue these things in ignorant ways. So apply this principle to your specific person and situation until you can see clearly how this is so.